Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm going to be talking about Detective Comics issue 62. This comic released April 1st, 1942, which means a Joker comic released on April Fool's Day. The comic promotes Batman vs. Joker at the top of the page, and has the Joker holding balloons with his face on them in front of the heroes. One of his balloons is behind the DC logo, or sometimes the cover has the balloon in front of the DC logo. It shows Batman charging at Joker while he's doing this, and Robin popping one of his balloons with his slingshot. The Batman story is titled Laugh Town Laugh, written by Bill Finger, penciled by Bob Kane, inked by Jerry Robinson and George Roussos, and lettered by Ira Schnapp. On the opening page, Joker is nicknamed the Harlequin of Hate and the King of All Clowns. It's a cool artwork with Joker standing on top of a joke book that I'm assuming that he wrote with the fake name Joe Miller. The story starts with the death of a comedian named Happy Hansen, who has a very funny will. His lawyer brings together the top 5 comedians, and each of them is given a clue to his cache. We then see the Joker commit a jailbreak by causing an explosion and release him from his cell. He caused an explosion by collecting enough cellulose from playing cards for an explosion to happen after a torch hits the cellulose, because Joker also collected enough hair and dirt to clog the keyhole to his cell, so to get him out of his cell for his haircut of the week, the cops used a torch to loosen the door, and that's what caused the explosion. I can't believe it, but that may be the dumbest jailbreak ever. Like, the guard pulls out a full torch, and the lock is just clogged, they couldn't clean it out, and the Joker had to be released from his cell because it was time for his haircut. Did he really need a haircut that badly? Yes, Joker needing a haircut apparently is what in part started this jailbreak. Soon, Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson see the Joker's escaped on the news. The Joker sees that he wasn't invited to the Happy Hansen scavenger hunt, making him go after the 5 comedians. The Joker kills these comedians when he finds them, takes their clue from them, which is in the form of a joke riddle. Here, he then rewrites the punchline and gets one step closer to the special cache. And the punchline always has something to do with the way the comedian is killed by him. The prize in all of this sucked. It was just a necklace of pearls. Pearls that are old and dead, so Joker just throws the pearls away. To me, very underwhelming. Like, what? These are going to get sold for cash, even though it's going to become a well-known stolen item? And yeah, the Joker does stuff for laughs, but still. He commits crimes just for the thrill of it, but it did seem like he really wanted to see what this all led up to, and he was very disappointed. Pearls that, if they were in their prime, were going to be worth a king's ransom. I mean, Happy Hansen had the best comedians jump through hoops for this. Now, 2 things happen in this story. The payoff on this necklace, which I admit is really good, and the Joker doing something strange when it comes to his confrontation with Batman. Let's talk about the prize twist. The joke of the pearl necklace is that, yeah, the pearls look dead, but that was just because they haven't been in contact with the human body for years. The jewels will soon regain their life and lust. Joker just threw away, well, a fortune. I secretly wonder if he did that on purpose. That would actually be pretty funny. If not, then I also really love that cruel twist on the Joker. He had the prize, but he just didn't know much about it, and he threw it away. Let me talk about this really fast. It may be obvious, but when Joker uses the balloons you see on the front cover, they were balloons filled with laughing gas, so he could get into a comedian's house on stilts while everyone was distracted. Yeah, the Joker is very skilled walking on story-tall stilts in the story. Now to the weird confrontation with Batman. This story is the first time a Batman villain has had the chance to unmask Batman and learn his secret identity. But the Joker doesn't take off Batman's cowl. He loves these battles against Batman. He describes them as a breath of life, so he puts Batman into a death trap instead. With 20/20 vision, it's so crazy that the Joker is the first one to be able to unmask Batman, and he doesn't want to. This plot element has aged perfectly. There are 2 doors that he puts Batman into a room in to escape. One will kill Batman and the other will set him free, and he has to choose quickly because poison gas is filling up the place. He chooses door 2, death from hurled knives. Going into room 2, the knives launch at Batman but break on contact with his chest since the knives were made of candy. We also learn that if he went into room 1 and managed to kill the tiger inside, he still would have been hit with the poison gas. Only room 2 was truly safe. I don't really like how no matter what he went into room 1, he would have died. It seems more of a lucky guess instead of being the world's greatest escape artist. Well, at that time, Before Mr. Miracle appeared in 1971, Batman was the greatest escape artist. I love this moment where the tale hinges on Robin's decision to where it will go. Will Robin save an innocent life or allow Batman to get kidnapped by Joker? He chooses to save the innocent instead of punishing the guilty, like Batman taught him to do. I also think it would have been really cool if the person Robin was saving was actually one of the Joker's gang, instead of just, I'm pretty sure, a comedian that Joker tried to kill. But that's just my little thought. Also, there's a lot more Joker than Batman and Robin in this story, and Batman is still an official member of the police force, just like in the show Batman 1966. There's a very silly looking moment where Batman and Robin blow up foot floaties to walk on water. So that was Laugh Town Laugh, an amazing Joker tale from the Golden Age. At the time, the Joker was Batman's greatest enemy, hands down, being the supervillain he fought the most. I loved how the Joker was humorous and scary, since he murdered a lot of people in this tale. Now I'm going to talk about 3 other stories in this comic. The first one is called Cliff Crosby, The Adventure of the Champagne Corks, penciled by Pierce Rice, inked by Aruto Cazeneuve, and there's no information on who wrote this story. I go through these extra Detective Comics story because it is part of the comic itself, and if I like the story, I'm going to talk about it, or share it with you guys. We actually start off with Cliff Crosby getting knocked out and put into a trap setup. He has a way to escape thanks to the champagne bottles in front of him. We then learn that it was champagne that also got Cliff into the situation of this trap in the first place, and it's going to be champagne that gets him out of it. There was a plot from some common crooks to use a champagne bottle popping off to cause an alarm to go off, and next door, they will rob the place without alarm being covered up by the first one. Crosby himself is suspicious about this bottle being left out and setting off the alarm. He goes back to the scene of the crime and follows the robbers back to their hideout. Yeah, it's a pretty straight and narrow story. He calls his teammate Kay about his location and claims on a flagpole to take a photo of the crooks red-handed. Yeah, Cliff Crosby is a sloth detective here. He doesn't have an action scene where he's winning. He just gets spotted on the flagpole and falls off the flagpole into the room of the crook where the crooks are, and that's where the story left off, or started, and then flashback. And now we're back. Cliff starts shooting off champagne corks to hit the gun away from him, because the gun is set up to shoot him after a certain amount of time. And with all that noise and missing corks that go out the window, Kay frees him from his bond since, well, she finds him there. And he tips the cops off on the robbers leaving the state, and the robbers get stopped. Okay, the story was quick to read, and the champagne corks being what started and ending everything was unique. I never give number reviews, but I'll just say this was in the exact middle for a rank, this story. Next, I'm going to talk about the Crimson Avenger story titled The Case of the Crazy Crimes, written and penciled by Jack Leahy and inked and lettered by Charles Paris. It's about Joe Mogul, the underworld Caesar. He is in prison for killing the last DA, but the new DA needs more proof about it. Well, Joe gets out of prison for 2 days since he has a thug that looks like him break into jail and take his place, being a lookalike. But while escaping, his henchmen kill a guard, and the murder remains a mystery. Blech. Joe Mogul is committing crazy crimes while killing people so he doesn't get recognized, and is driving the new DA crazy. These crimes are happening at places the last DA went to a lot, and what they're stealing is very odd, like $5 or just $1 things, like an ashtray. It turns out the new DA was telling his problems to the Crimson Avenger, and he's on the case. The Crimson Avenger and his partner, Wing, wait in a brokerage office for the thugs, acting on a hunch. The criminals walk in and chase Crimson Avenger, then chases them across the rooftops. There's a moment where Wing falls to the ground but gets saved by the Avenger. The Crimson Avenger grabs one thug and he tells the heroes where Mogul is. Mogul gets defeated and his plan is revealed. He stole those cheap items because his fingerprints were on it, and those would have confirmed he killed the old DA. I didn't figure out the reason for stealing those weird items until it was spelled out to me. It was a fine story. I'm now going to talk about another new character I haven't talked about, called Airwave, in the story called Mr. Mystery. The story is written by Murray Boltinoff and penciled by Harris Levy and inked by Charles Paris. Now, Airwave first appeared in issue 60 of this series, so this comic is his 3rd appearance. It's about a small town getting a lot of money for the defense industry, and the bad guy named Mr. Mystery is planning on stealing all of it. Mr. Mystery kills anyone he can't intimidate, so Airwave, aka Larry Jordan, He sees about a rumored racket in that town and heads there to investigate. He stops some thugs performing a shakedown. It turns out Mr. Mystery is the mayor of this town. Okay, this twist I saw coming a mile away. I think Airwave has a better costume than the Crimson Avenger, actually. Or maybe it's because I just like his colors more. And I will say the mayor gave 1 or 2 funny lines while fighting Airwave, but that was the only things I liked in here. Before I go, here's an ad for Batman issue 10 that was under the cover. And that was Detective Comics issue 62. I really like the Batman tale in this, and actually, I think this is a great Golden Age Batman comic cover too. With all that said, I hope you enjoyed.